call this System Core Relic. It is the coolest little piece of art that myself and fiance have dreamed up and have spent many, many days, weeks, and hours creating this, refining it over and over. And I will say, my fiance did the brunt of the work. I was more of the foreman overseeing small tweaks and things to the project. But I am really, really proud of how this thing came out. It looks badass. And I'm going to show you how it was made. We went through lots of different iterations, but I don't have all the footage of different pictures and things. We threw a bunch of the old test material out. We just didn't need it, or at least we didn't think we needed it. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a video together for this. So yeah, here's a little bit of the build process. We came up with several different iterations. I only have footage of 2 of them before we came up with the final design. We saw some different things out on the internet and we're like, man, that looks kind of cool, but anything else that we came across was just super basic. And I was like, we can do better than that. So we came up with this next design. It was way more intricate and very close to the final design, but it was very flat. It didn't have all the raised surfaces. It wasn't as intricate. What we were going to do is spray paint and then use our laser to help etch the spray paint off. And we went through can after can after can of spray paint. Time after time, the laser couldn't give us the results that we were wanting to etch away the paint and reveal different colors underneath different layers without making too many burn marks or anything. So we had to completely scrap that after a couple of weeks of trial and error. Then we started to come up with a final design. This actually was my fiance's little inspiration moment. She just had an idea pop in her head and she's like, I wonder if we make it 3D, like even more 3D. She went for it and it just turned out totally badass. And she came up with also cutting the end off of the cube so it would stand on its side. We were trying to think of how it could stand up and look more presentable on a desk or a work area where you're going to have it displayed at. And we definitely went with a black USB cable because that was another thing that we saw is people were making these different lights, but they were using, different color USB cables to power it that didn't go with the design and color. And we wanted everything to blend together and just be just that extra bit of special, really knock it out of the park, And I think it just turned out phenomenal. I've got one on my desk and I turn it on every single day. And it's got these cool LED lights that shine onto your wall and light up the background. If your area is a little bit darker, like in your office or room or whatever, when you turn this on, it just adds that extra layer of awesomeness that projects up onto your walls and just makes everything super badass. I'm really proud of it. I think it's cool. These are going to be available on the Impulse Etsy shop. These do take a little while to make, so if you see one available, place that order because it takes a while for us to restock. As long as demand is strong, we'll keep making them. That's about it for this video. I do want to say one thing about my last video I made. Hell, that was like a month or 2 ago, hell, maybe longer. I had mentioned that I was going to do a custom server build, and I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, there's plenty of other channels that tell you how to build a computer or a server. You don't need to see another one. And I'm just kind of burnt out on doing that kind of video. My new thing that I am getting into is 3D printing and learning how to design and model in Blender. And I've never done it before. I don't know CAD. I don't know Blender. I'm only a couple of weeks into it so far. And I've made some prototypes and stuff, super basic stuff. But it's really, really caught my attention. I've got that bug to make things. That's really cool. So I'll probably be doing videos on some 3D printers and different Blender designs and stuff. Just my journey on learning a new skill, new hobby, and see what all I come up with. So you know what to do. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. See ya.